What up, people? So just to give you guys something to do whilst you're at home, so just a couple of mobility exercises. Mobility is great, just to keep your body moving, keep all the joints moving, but also increase flexibility, range of motion through joints. Personally, I'm not a particularly flexible person, so I'm going to be working over that whilst I'm locked into quarantine. But hopefully you guys can follow some of this stuff and have a go at doing some of these exercises. I'll do the best I can with what visual I've got, and then I might have to spin it around and stuff. We'll start off, I'll start in a Pilates prep position, so our feet are in parallel and we're like so. Then we're going to just roll down, chin to the chest and the weight to the front part of the feet. Draw the tummy in and don't push your bum backwards. So if it's on side plane, you're not pushing backwards, your weight's forwards. Okay, chin to the chest and you're rolling down. Looking at the belly button as best you can and come as low as you feel you can. Breathing in as you breathe out, rolling back up, the weight still on the toes. And again, same again, chin into the chest, weights the front part of the feet, rolling down. From there, we can walk out one hand at a time. As we walk out, try and keep your legs straight. Walking out one hand at a time, all the way down. Here you can add in other things. So we're going to bring in, I'll just bring it back a little bit, take your left foot to the outside of the left hand. Push these hips nice and low to the ground. You don't want to be up here, you don't want to be dropping the knee. Push the hips close to the ground, open up through the chest, rotate through the shoulders, not just bringing the arm behind us, rotate through the shoulders and bring the hand then, thumb draws back. Bringing it back to the floor, bring this foot back, change the other foot in. Same again, push the hips towards the ground, rotate through the chest, push the hips nice and low, open up, bringing it back down, bringing the foot back to the ground. Then we can lower ourselves to the ground. I'm going to come back a little bit more. Down to the ground, hand comes out to the side, leg comes across, open up, and you're just letting that arm relax, not pushing against anything, not really pushing. It's the weight of this back leg taking us over that gives us a stretch, and the same on the other side. And again, you might get some clicks in the back when doing this. Just relax your body, bringing it back. Now we're going to push back into a press again. From that position, we're going to walk back with the hands. This time we're going to keep the legs nice and straight. Halfway back. So we're creating a capital A shape. So I'll show you some sort of a side plane. We're trying to create a capital A shape. Mine's not brilliant, but we want to try and make a nice straight line and a straight line down from the legs. Once you've done that, walk all the way back to the feet, head is in and rolling up. Do that 3 times through, so you can just repeat that once again all the way through and then come back up to the standing position. A great idea now would be get a stick or I don't know, curtain pole, broomstick, whatever you want, and place that across your shoulders. Then we're going to squat down, placing that stick on our shoulders, and we've got our hands over the top of the stick. And all we're going to do here is get nice and low, keeping the knees open as much as we can, and we're just going to rock from left to right. As we rock, we don't want this to happen. So just try and keep your hips nice and low to the ground. You can also take your hands on the inside. If you don't have a stick, just push your hands on the inside of the knees and pushing outwards to stop the knees from coming towards each other. Just rocking from left to right. Then we can straighten up one leg. So we can put the hand down, straighten up that leg, and push this knee outwards. And bring it down to the other side. Again, use this elbow to push this knee outwards. Bring it back to the floor again, up here, and then we can stretch up nice and tall, and then coming down, once again, trying to bring the bum low to the ground. Up nice and tall, bring the bum low to the ground. We can work on some movement through the hip. Keep this foot still and rotate, turning from the back foot. This is stretching the outside edge of the bum. And again, here, stretching the outside edge of the bum of the leg that's not moving. Also mobilizing the hips, keeping you mobile and supple through the hips there. Do this a couple of times on each side. Brilliant, shaking off your legs. So we can then move on to doing some movements, bending from the hips. So again, this is really good if you can get a stick on the shoulders. And we're going to bend it over, sticking the bum out. So we're going to try and keep the legs straight, sticking the bum out, and still the weight mostly at the front. You will have to come forward a little bit, backwards a little bit to a degree. Hands either by the back of the head like this, or you could have your stick here. I'm just going to rotate and rotate. Just stretching through the hamstrings, back to the legs, and mobilizing all those areas there. Getting the twist through the spine. Again, we can do this a few times. We'll then bring ourselves to the floor. So we're going to go for pigeon. Knees down onto the ground. Take your right foot in front of the left knee. like so. And you want this to be parallel, say to this wall here, or parallel to something in front of you. Then you're going to use your left hand to hold this foot where it is and slide the other leg back as far as it can. Now the thing you want to work on with this is think about going backwards, not really about trying to go down, more push backwards and backwards. All the while keeping this foot where it is and this knee where it is. This can put a bit of pressure on the knee, so you can always place a cushion underneath the knee. Bring the elbows down as much as you can. Then what I would do is, you probably can't see this, but I'm going to take my back leg this way, so across my body more. You see how I move there? Which makes this hip come closer to this foot. We want to keep this hip close to this foot, this bum going backwards. Then what we're going to do is, if our left leg is stretched back, our left arm is stretched forwards. And we're going to stretch like so, and this is going to stretch through our glutes. Come right down. And once again, we can do that on the other side. So change the legs, bring this foot in front now, pin it, pull it right back, feel the stretch there. And you can hold these for a few seconds, bring it across your body, stretch your right leg and your right hand away from each other. Trying to bring it right down, feel a nice stretch. Once again, in the left glute now I'm feeling this because my left foot is in front. So it's pigeon. You can add things to this, add on to more twists right across like this position to add into that more. Both hands out in front of you to change that exercise slightly. Glutes are a massive, massive mover within the hips. And for those of you that just want to learn to jump higher, it's going to massively help you to increase range of motion and power through the hips and legs. But also for those of you that are just generally just tight, it's going to free your hips up and maybe make you more freely moving. Once your hips are loosened off, everything else feels a hell of a lot better. I'm going to move you onto a wall now, so we're going to work on some hip stretches. Actually, before we do that, we'll do them without the wall. So you can do these without the wall, and it's slightly different in movement. So we're going to come onto our knees, and we're going to take the left foot in front. What we want is this foot to be in front. We don't want it to be here, slightly in front, or quite far in front. Let's come back here. Draw the tummy in. If we stick the belly button out and arch the back, we don't get a nice workout stretch through the hip flexors. This is to stretch our psoas. We've got to tuck under, so think about bringing a pubic bone up towards the nose and push your hips forwards. Draw the tummy in as much as you can, push your hips forward so you can feel the stretch through the hip here. Draw the tummy in as much as you can, and we've got ourselves a stretch. Now with this back foot, we're going to rotate so the back foot goes behind you. This is going to make this knee want to fall in. Don't let that happen, so we take this arm and we chop it out to keep it outwards, and we push forwards again the same way we was pushing a second ago. And now we're stretching through the groin, so we're working through the adductors. So we did the psoas, iliopsoas, and now we're doing the groin and adductors. So we're getting that nice stretch through there. Brilliant. Then bring that leg back out again, so it's now straight. And with the front leg, we're going to straighten that leg. Stick the chest out, stick the bum out, and come down with the chest. What we're looking for is your hands, the palm of your hands, should be able to be in line with the heel of the foot, so bringing it down to the floor. Now for some of you that's going to be really difficult. What I really want you to try and focus on is not allowing this leg to bend, otherwise we miss out on the flexibility through the tendons here. So you can place your hands on little blocks, books, pillows, put a child there if you have to, lay down, put a child there, and just kind of use those as assistance. Okay, so you get that little bit of a stretch, and obviously then we'll repeat that all on the other side. Draw tummy in, push the hips forwards. Good, rotate the leg. Again, keep open. And once again, rotate the leg back, straighten out the leg, and hands down. Good. Then we can work and hit the front of thigh. So that's going to work the hamstrings, the psoas, and all these muscles help us open up our strides. So we're working on strides and increase our jump, but also increase our range of motion and speed for our hips. We're now going to work on the quads. So we're going to try and get a bit of a stretch through those. So now and then we're going to use a wall. So you can use any wall in the house. I've got this angled wall, which makes it actually quite a lot easier, but obviously not many houses have angled walls. Otherwise your house might be a bit dodgy. If it has got an angled wall, probably need to see someone about it, but not now because everyone's in quarantine, so there's not much you can do. You just have to leave it as an angled wall. But anyway, you can use it at least. So we're going to put the left foot close to the wall. Now the closer this knee is to the wall, the harder the exercise. Now mine's pretty much against it, and this is because my wall's angled, so it will make this a lot easier, but I'll show you like so. Now you've got two choices. Your toes can go up the wall or your feet can come back. If your feet are like this,
you're probably going to put your foot further away from the wall. This can put a little bit less pressure on the toes. I personally prefer it this way. So from there, we need to bring the other foot in to this position. So you can get this position. Now before we do anything else, we need to really focus on drawing the tummy in, because if we arch the back in this position, it pulls on the lower back and it doesn't feel particularly comfortable. So draw the tummy in and sit tall. There's no good sitting there like this and doing this kind of shape. I'll show you the shape like this. That's no good. It needs to be draw the tummy in, flatten off the back, pull the pubic bone up towards your nose, really stretch out the front of the thigh, and now you can feel a nice stretch here, or maybe not such a nice stretch here. So you're going to really draw the tummy in. It should be tensed here. If it's not tensed, you're probably not getting much of a stretch, okay? Or it's going into your lower back. So you could hold this stretch for a little while and then straighten out the leg, and you're basically now in pain wherever you go. Here is pain, but it's all gain. So you can obviously do that on both sides. That's a really nice stretch for the front of thigh, which is going to help you massively. Okay, we can go to butterfly, or flat bar as I like to call it. So again, we can use against the wall to kind of support us, and some of you could go this way against the wall to once again help. So I'll just go this way for now. So we've got our feet in, get your bum close to your toes, grab your toes and flap your wings like a butterfly. Then you've got two options here. I like to grab my ankles, and that way my elbows reach my knees. So if I grab my ankles and I lean forwards, get the weight of my body forwards, and I push my knees down towards the ground for a stretch through the adductors, the in-between of the legs, and we can stretch those out. Then what we can also do is grab the toes, and this is a different stretch. Breathe in. As you breathe out, bring the head right over and try bring your head forward. This can free up the SIJ, sacroiliac joint, which is where we take a lot of our impact where we are jumping. We take a lot of impact through SIJ, sacroiliac joint. Research it. It's an important one to work out and mobilize. So this can help free that up as well. But there's lots of other exercises we can work on with those as well. So this is going to work out and stretch the adductors coming forwards. Give that a nice stretch, and you can also once again use the support of the wall. If you feel you can't get down very low, once again put something thin down, a block, a book, or a couple of books depending. Good old yellow pages, but they don't do those anymore. Don't sit on a child, that's not good. Okay, it's called cruelty. All right, so that's those ones. Let's have a look at maybe some SIJ mobility. Let's go. Just a nice stretch really. So you're going to lay down like so, take your right foot on top of your left knee, left hand on top of the right knee, right hand out to the right side on the floor, put your head on the floor, breathing in. As you breathe out, pull the pull the right knee over to the left side. So pull it towards you guys, head's on the floor, just relax, breathing in. And as you breathe out, let it come lower down towards the ground. What you can then do is just lift it up a little higher and pull the knee towards the shoulder. So you can sort of pull it back towards you and then sort of roll your hips backwards as well. And this just opens up the SIJ a little bit. You might not feel too much, but just give that a go, pull it down. And obviously we do the same on the opposite side. So just bring the left foot on top of the right knee, right hand on top of the left knee, left hand out to the left side, look towards the left side, breathe in. As you breathe out, pull the left leg over to the right side. Hey, got it all right. And again, pull it in and up. So you can stretch through the obliques and really kind of get the core stretched out and opened. I don't normally focus too much on stretching the actual abs because most of us tend to have a little bit arch back, loose belly anyway. So I've tried to work mostly on strengthening the core. But if you do feel like you need to stretch out that core and stomach, we can go into Sphinx. We can lay onto our belly and just give it a little bit of a stretch here. This will help our spine flexibility, also on the flexion of the spine, extension, never remember which one it is, but anyway, it's one of them. And coming through, and just roll the shoulder blades back, sticking the chest out, so you can get a bit of a stretch through the abs. Personally, I don't do it too much, purely based on the fact that most people are arched more in their back than they need to be, but it's a good idea to have a little go if you've done loads and loads of core work, which is going to be on another video. So I'm going to do a whole video for core, and I'm going to do maybe some power training videos, and I'm going to do maybe just some standard fitness videos. So that's it. Peace out, people.